सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले विराजमानम्
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 titled Sankhya Yoga, verse number 1. Sanjay uvacha tam tatha kripaya avishtam ashru purna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudanaha. Sanjay said, Sri Madhusudan thus spoke these words to the lamenting Arjun, who was overwhelmed with compassion and whose restless eyes were full of tears. So, continuing his description of what was happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Sanjay is informing Maharaj Dhritarashtra that when Arjun decided not to fight and put down his Gandiv, bow and arrow and sat down on his chariot, at that time Lord Krishna, who is referred to here as Madhusudan, spoke these words to Arjun, who was overcome with immense grief, as well as he was overwhelmed with compassion for the well-being of his dear brothers, cousins and the rest of his dynasty. And a great soldier like Arjun was also so much overcome with grief that his eyes were brimming with tears. This second chapter is where Lord Krishna will now start his instructions to Arjun. Second chapter is the second longest chapter in Bhagavad Gita, and it provides a summary of all the instructions of the Lord in this great scripture. The seed shlokas of Bhagavad Gita are the 4 verses in the 10th chapter, verses 8, 9, 10, 11. These are the original 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita that the Lord spoke to Surya Dev. They are called Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And the entire Bhagavad Gita is basically an explanation of those 4 verses. We'll come to them when we get to chapter 10. This chapter 2 is a summary of all the various instructions and the Siddhanta that Krishna will explain in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, this chapter can also be considered as the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Giving a summary of this chapter, which is called Sankhya Yoga, or the yoga through distinguishing the soul from the body, Srila Gurudev Narayan Maharaj Ji explains that when the living entity accepts the shelter of a bona fide guru, he realizes his own ignorant condition. He then tries to become free from the illusory traps of the deluding potency by giving up his own conceptions and respecting the instructions of the spiritual master. The bona fide guru is a seer of the truth a devotee who has pure exclusive love for the Lord. Therefore, he is free from the four defects of illusion, error, imperfect senses and deception. When a practitioner of bhakti hears instructions from the lotus mouth of the all-merciful spiritual master, he understands the difference between the soul and the material body. He also realizes the ill effects of sense enjoyment and becomes attracted to hearing the conceptions, characteristics, and glories of the sages whose minds are fixed in transcendence. Then, by the influence of saintly association, an awareness sprouts within his heart of the need to attain conclusive knowledge of the absolute truth. So Srila Gurudev explains that how it is important for us to give up our own conceptions when in the matter of understanding the supreme absolute truth. As long as we cling to our ideas and our conceptions, we would not be able to see the truth. We talked about this example before, that when a boy wanted to learn guitar, he approached an expert who was a guitar player. Now this boy had already tried to learn guitar on his own, by looking at different videos, and had convinced himself that he was a pretty good guitarist. When he went to this teacher, there was another student there before him who was also wanting to get some training lessons, but he had no idea of how to play guitar. The teacher had told him that he would charge him $50 a month. Now when this boy who had some idea of guitar approached the same teacher and told him that he had a pretty good idea of how to play the guitar, and also showed to this expert how he plays guitar, and then when he inquired him that what would it take to learn from the expert guitarist, the teacher told this boy, well, my dear boy, I'm going to charge you $200 a month. So he said, why? You just told that other boy before me that it'll be only $50, and he did not know anything, whereas I have a pretty good idea. So the expert said, well, that exactly is the problem, because what you think is a great idea, or your knowledge of guitar is actually so incorrect that first I will have to unteach you. I will have to take out from your conception all the wrong ideas that you have about playing guitar. So it's going to take much more effort. So similarly, in the matter of supreme absolute knowledge, transcendental knowledge, if we approach it with our preconceived notions, then it is going to be very difficult to understand. But if we approach it in a mood of devotion and sincere inquiry, then we will be able to understand, and we will see that how Arjun will approach Krishna in exactly this mood. Now this chapter is titled Sankhya Yoga. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as we discussed before, ends with the word Yog. Yog means in Sanskrit to add. For example, 1 plus 1 in Sanskrit will be called 1 Yog 1 is equal to 2. So what does Yog really mean? Yoga really means the process by which we connect ourselves to the supreme truth. The process by which we, the living entities who are wandering in this material world, are able to re-establish our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And Krishna describes these different yoga processes in Bhagavad Gita, and towards the end he will also conclude that which out of these is the suprememost yoga. Now the word Sankhya comes from the word Sankhya. Sankhya means count or counting or numbers. So, Sankhya Yoga is the analytical study of transcendental knowledge by understanding the Sankhya or the number of various material and spiritual elements. For example, the Vishnu Tattva, which is the Paramatma or the Supreme Lord, Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Prakriti Tattva, which is the nature, the senses, the mind, the ego, the intelligence, all of these various conscious and mundane or material elements, by understanding these various elements and their interrelationships, is what Sankhya Yoga is about. And understanding that how the conscious entity is superior to the material entity or the material body, and how in the conscious entities also there is the supreme conscious entity, which is the Supreme Lord, and then there is the minute conscious entity, which is the Jiva, and what is the relationship between them. What is mind? What is false ego? What is intelligence? Are they material in nature or are they spiritual in nature? What are the senses and how the senses bind us in this material world? Understanding all of these things analytically is called Sankhya Yoga. Lord Kapil, who is also an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, explains the Sankhya Yoga also in Srimad Bhagavatam to his mother Devahuti. Sankhya Yoga is one of the 6 main streams of knowledge or darshans. The 6 are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Mimamsa and Vedanta. So now Arjun here refers to Krishna as Madhusudana. In the last chapter also we understood some of the meanings of what word Madhusudan means. Krishna is called Madhusudan because he killed the demon Madhu. He took the incarnation of Hayagriva, or the incarnation with the head of a horse, to kill this demon. When Bhakta Prahlad was praying to Lord Nrsingadev to calm him down when Lord Nrsingadev had killed Hiranyakashipu, he prayed to him that Tasmai Bhavan Hai Shiraha Tanuvan Hi Bibhrat Veda Dhruvaha Atibalam Madhu Kaitab Akhyam. My dear Lord, when you appeared as Hayagriva with the head of a horse, you killed 2 demons known as Madhu and Kaitab, who were full of modes and passion and ignorance. Then you delivered the Vedic knowledge to Lord Brahma. For this reason, all the great saints accept your forms as transcendental, untinged by material qualities. So in Vishnu Puran, it is explained that Madhu and Kaitab were born from the earwax of Lord Vishnu, and they became very strong by feeding onto the ocean in which the Lord was lying. They stole the Vedas from Lord Brahma, who then approached Lord Vishnu for protection. Lord Vishnu then took the form of Hayagriva, which means that he had the head of a horse, and he went to kill Madhu and Kaitab and recover the Vedas from them. He disintegrated their bodies into 6 pieces each. So thus these were 12 pieces, and these are considered to represent the 12 seismic plates of the earth. So Sudan means the killer and Madhu is the demon, so therefore Krishna is called Madhusudan. Now Madhu also means honey. Something which is very dear to us, we feel that is as sweet and as delicious as honey. In our material consciousness, what is it that is the most dear to us? It is our false ego. It is our identification with our material body that is the most dear to us. To protect our false ego, to protect our identity of this body, we are ready to go down to any level. And Bhagavad Gita is about killing this false ego. So right here, Arjun is referring to Krishna as Madhu Sudana, that, "Oh my Lord, please remove this false ego that is residing in my heart and making me forget what my true identity, my true responsibility is." Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, the illustrious commentator of Bhagavad Gita, writes in his commentary, "Madhusudana iti tasya shokam api madhuvan nihivishyati iti bhavaha," that Krishna can kill grief of Arjun just as he killed demon Madhu. Arjun's grief is being caused because of misidentification with his material body and with all those who are related to his body. Sri Swami Prabhupada ji in his commentary says that no one knows where should compassion be applied. Now Arjun is feeling compassionate, but he says that compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. If someone is drowning in an ocean, will you try to save his outer dress, or will you try to save that individual? Bhagavad Gita is about saving the individual and not the outer dress. And Krishna will start this saving process, saving Arjun with his instructions from the next verse that we will discuss next time. This is the month of Kartik. Please continue to chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And every day in the evening, please light a diya offering to the Radha Damodar and singing Damodar Ashtakam. Hare Krishna. Have a very blessed day.